If you've ever been staring at your motorcycle thinking, man, I wonder what I can do to make it just look a little bit more custom, not spend too much money, well, let me tell you, a decal kit is probably what you're after. So if you've been following my channel, I recently bought my dream motorcycle, which is a V-Strom 800DE, and although it's beautiful as it is, I wanted to make it look just a little bit more different than the next guys. So I ended up buying a decal kit, and I wanted to try it myself. I've never done it before. I thought it was going to be scary, and turns out it actually wasn't too bad at all. So today we're just going to go through the process of how I went about doing it, and how you guys can do it yourself. I'm pretty sure there's different quality differences between decal kits, so make sure you do your research and make sure you're getting good quality decals. The one that I got is from Upshift online. Shout out to them. Really good quality kits, by the way. They're like pretty darn thick, like surprisingly thick, and actually quite stiff, which I thought was going to be an issue, but it turns out this particular 3M film is incredibly forgiving for applying and removing. So first thing you want to do is you want to make sure your bike is clean, obviously. So take it to the car wash, clean it as best as you can, hand dry it, and then come back to your garage or wherever you're going to install it. I ended up doing it with the panels on, and I thought it was easier because the panels didn't move then. Maybe your particular bike, you'll have to remove them, but hopefully you can keep them on. So when your decal kit arrives, it will probably come flat packed like mine. Mine was like sort of on like a 2 foot by 2 foot piece of cardboard, with like 20 decals sandwiched to it. So for tools, you're gonna need a heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun, you could probably use a blow dryer, assuming it gets hot enough. And then you're gonna need some sort of a squeegee. Now it said that mine came with a squeegee. It definitely did not. And I went like online to see if I could get a decal squeegee. It was gonna be like 2 days. So I went through my kitchen and I actually found a silicone spatula, and that ended up working out awesome. So if you have one of those, just use one of those. You also want to avoid using any sharp tools on your panels, obviously, because you don't want to cut or gouge your panels. And also your panels have to be in really good condition, guys. If there's big gouges in them already, the decal might not stick and you might be wasting your time. Other stuff you're going to need is some Windex. That's what I used. Then you're going to need some rubbing alcohol, probably at least 90% to get the goo off the decals. And then also a roll of paper towel. Once your bike is all spick and span, we have to remove the factory decals. So doing this, the easiest way to do it is with the heat gun. So what you want to do is you want to heat up your decal a little bit, get the goo kind of wet underneath, and then we're going to start peeling it off really slowly. And this is a patience thing, guys. If you try to pull really hard, it's going to rip the decal, and it's going to end up actually taking you longer. So a little bit of heat, pull slowly, a little bit of heat, pull slowly. If it feels like it's cooling off and it's binding, add a little bit of heat. Just try not to burn anything, obviously, right? So this is just little bits at a time. But yeah, take your time taking the stock decals off. There's going to be some adhesive glue left on your panels, and that's normal. So what you want to do is get some paper towel and some rubbing alcohol and just rub it off. It might take a little bit of elbow grease, but eventually it will come off and you'll have nice clean panels. So after that, it's time to finally start applying the aftermarket decals onto your machine. So I would start with something with a relatively simple shape. I know the front fender on mine was really easy. It was basically just a rectangle. So what you want to do is you want to add some Windex onto the panel of choice. What the Windex does is it allows you to move the decal around in place, and then we're going to squeegee it off. So basically it just gives you a little bit of time to get your panel in the right spot, and then from there we can start getting rid of the Windex underneath the decal, and that'll eventually dry on. Not only does this remove the Windex, but it's going to remove air bubbles that are trapped underneath the decal. Now you're going to think to yourself, Landon, well, my panel is round and the decal is kind of flat, so there's going to be little lifts and stuff. Yeah, exactly. I was actually really scared about this because there's a lot of weird shapes on a motorcycle, and the decals are flat. But if you buy a good quality decal kit like I did, it just bends around with some heat really, really well. So that's the next step. So once you get it squeegeed off, those corners that are lifting, you're gonna apply some heat kind of near the center of the decal, and then you're gonna start squeegeeing your way out with a little bit of heat at a time. The trick is to not overheat the decals. If you add too much heat, you can potentially damage them, but they will take quite a bit of heat. So if you're using a blow dryer, it's gonna take a lot. A heat gun, only put it on the medium setting, apply just a few seconds at a time, watch for the decal, it'll soften a bit, and then that's enough. Then you're gonna take your squeegee it out, it's eventually gonna mold to that shape. So it's a little bit of finesse, but trust me guys, this was my first time doing it, it's not that bad. Once you think you've mastered the basic panels, now it's time to move on to the more complicated ones. Now on my bike, there was like 3 or 4 decals sort of near the gas tank area that needed to be lined up. So I picked the side ones first, and there was a lot of weird shapes to the side one, guys. But the same thing is just find a straight edge near the center of the panel. Kind of use that as your anchor to line things up to. Put it down and then start squeegeeing the air bubbles out and the Windex out. It doesn't matter what it looks like quite yet. Once you think it's lined up to the best of your abilities, then start adding that heat. Start from that center part, that anchored part. Start warming up the panel and squeegeeing your way out. Try to get one corner down where it's sitting really nice to the panel, then move around. And guys, if you screw up, it's not a big deal. I ended up having to do this a few times. You can actually remove these panels and it doesn't seem to lose its adhesion very much at all. It's not a sticker in that sense. It seems to rely a lot on the glue to set. So if you start doing it and you go, oh, I screwed up, it's not quite lined up, you can peel it off. I ended up peeling off one of my decals like, I think 2 or 3 times before I finally got it right. And I just did a 5,000 kilometer trip on it basically now. And the decals are holding up just fine. So don't be too concerned about that. Just make sure when you're peeling it off, you're in a clean environment, guys. You're not getting dirt underneath the decal or dust, things like that. As long as it's clean, you should be able to do this. Once all your decals are on, you still might find that there's some air bubbles or some corners lifting because of the Windex underneath. All you do is you heat up the area, you squeegee those air bubbles out. I had a really stubborn corner where it just didn't want to stick. And it just took a while. I just heated it, I squeegeed, heated it, I squeegeed. Eventually it stuck. And if you find like later on, there's an air bubble, like way down the road, this stuff's forgiving. You just heat it up again and you can squeegee that out. So pretty easy. Just make sure you don't ride it for about 24 hours after you're done, just so everything really sets. But yeah, anyways, this took me like most of a day. I really took my time with it because I was a little bit nervous. But I think it turned out pretty awesome. Here is sort of the after footage of what it looks like. But yeah, decal kits, pretty cool. They make your motorcycle look a lot more unique, not too much money, removable. You can do it yourself. You can head over to Upshift online. They have some really nice kits. Otherwise, just try to find a kit with that good quality 3M stuff. That's definitely the stuff you want. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you guys in another one. See you later.